Okay, so let's get down to some business. Of course, it was a very big election year all around. I'm probably like all of you. I have to tell you, by November 6th, I'm sure many of us felt like, please make it end. The nonstop radio and TV ads, the stuffed mailboxes, the failed answering machines. At times, it got downright silly. I don't know if you read or not, but at Boston College, they were counting the number of times that Obama and Romney blinked during the debates to predict who would win. Seriously. By the way, they were wrong. And so the election is over, and now we must move forward. America has spoken. America has said, enough of the bickering, fix our economy. We need to get people back to work. Cory Booker, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, recently told a group of young people, you know, in life, you get one choice over and over again, and that is to take conditions as they are or to take responsibility for changing them. And I think our grown-ups in Washington could learn something from that. They need to have to start taking responsibility instead of just blaming the other side, and that's both sides of the aisle. Step one is sometimes of being a grown-up are some of the things that we all learned on the playgrounds or from our moms, you know, like play nice, share, no name calling. So Congress is going to have an immediate test on their progress, which you are probably getting tired of hearing about already. Some call it the fiscal cliff, some call it sequestration, whatever you call it. If Congress and the President don't figure this out, it's going to be a very unhappy new year for many in this country and for many in this room. No pressure, Alan. Is he still here? No. On January 2nd, we could be looking at the beginning of $1.2 trillion worth of spending cuts and higher taxes across the board. And this is a result of Washington's failure, repeated, on both sides again, to come up with a long-term plan to deal with their budget gap. There's been a lot of talk about tough choices, but now all of us may have to live with those choices, and they are forced to deal with it. No more kicking the can down the road. It's all wrapped up in a jumble of politics, a whole bunch of blame games, lots of rhetoric, sprinkled with a heavy dose of finger-pointing. But what it spells for those of us in local government, in cities and businesses, you can't explain it any other way, but it spells disaster. So we're counting on the President and Congress to fix this because economists of every persuasion say that we could slip into another recession and unemployment rates would almost certainly go back up if this is not fixed by the end of the year. And folks, I'm not saying it's an easy job. You know, those of us here in local government, we struggle with it each and every day. And there's a lot at stake, and people on both sides have fundamental beliefs on how we should move forward. But as Ronald Reagan once said, there are no easy answers, but there are simple answers. We must have the courage to do what we know is morally right. And that's the immediate situation at the national level. And I say immediate, because folks, I don't know about you, but I know today's December 6th, and I know when New Year's Eve is. And so there's no time left. They need to sit down if it's 24 hours a day. Here at the state level, we have our own issues. It's called realignment. You know, you got to love this stuff. Sequestration, realignment. All I know is the fancier the word, the more Scrabble points you get for it, the worse it is for us, okay? So, I mean, you know, I like the short word, you know, where there's no points, throw it out. But realignment basically adds up to, for us, is a sort of a shell game in a sense. And more away, once again, shying away from the tough decisions that we all need to make. The state has a jail overcrowding issue, and we all know that they have a budget issue, as we all do. To solve both issues, they basically did what I call the Sacramento two-step. In October of 2011, they started sending their prisoners down to local governments as a way of, number one, making it appear that their jails weren't so crowded, cha-cha, and two, to balance their budget, cha-cha-cha. That was a pretty good, that's 5 and 2, anyway, it didn't work out. However, the state has promised to send the funding with the prisoners. Take a guess. For 2012-2013, LA County will receive $272 million from the state as our share for realignment. The problem is with the departments and the ever-increasing issues that we have to deal with these prisoners, from the sheriff, mental health experts, probation, they are predicting a real cost of $525 million. Now, I'm not a great mathematician, but that basically says we're getting about 50 cents on the dollar. Now, Proposition 30 passed, and whether you're for or against it, inside of that, we worked very hard to include a provision that, should it pass, and it did, that it had a constitutional amendment, that the state would reimburse us for our costs, not just LA County, but all counties. So we'll wait and see, but I will assure you we are not going to hold our breath. We are going to be aggressive to solve our problems. In the end, you once again may wonder why all of this matters to you. Well, it's just like your budget at home. You have a certain amount of money, finite, the price of gas goes up, that means the money has to come from some other place to cover it. It's the same with the county, it's the same with the city, school districts, community college districts. If we have to pay more to cover the state budget, then we're going to have to cut somewhere else to take care of our own, what we're responsible for by law. So that's the optimistic national and state picture. That was a joke, okay? But back to Ronald Reagan. He once famously said that the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." And I'm sure many of you, and I heard you nodding and chuckling, but no doubt you all feel the same way. But what I'd like to do today is to tell you a different story about your local government. You don't read about these in the papers. The way that we are looking at doing our business and going to have to look at doing our business is much the same way as all of you businesses in the room are looking at doing your business. So we're going to focus on 3 primary areas. Number 1, most importantly, responsible budgeting. Number 2, UPS is in the house, and if anybody knows about customer service, it's UPS. And so we have to learn from that. And number 3, most importantly, is our people. Does that sound familiar? Well, we all know that it sounds very simple, but it is very complex for any business, especially one that has a $24 billion budget like we do. But you don't read about fiscal cliffs or 2 steps at the county. You see, we have to balance our budget each and every year. We don't get to do continuing resolutions, and we can't realign anything to anybody. We got to take it as it is. So back in the good old days, we put some money away during the good times. We didn't go on a spending spree. We were very prudent and responsible about putting dollars aside, not ever thinking we'd get to this point, but it was really a good idea. And I want to thank our CEO, Mr. Bill Fujioka, who's here, and our many department heads, and the 60 bargaining units, our labor bargaining units, who have been incredible partners with us. You don't hear us fighting amongst each other because at the end of the day, we've been able to do this without any layoffs or furloughs. They have been our partners through and through. And we could not have done it without this partnership with labor. So everyone realizes that we are all on the same team, serving as the ultimate safety net, as you've heard me say so many times, for the people who need it most. The county's track record of fiscal discipline did not go unnoticed. In October, Standard & Poor's raised the county's long-term credit rating from AA- to AA. This is virtually unheard of, a government credit rating going up. In fact, the AA rating is the highest S&P has ever assigned to the county. We are also the largest municipality in America to have its rating upgraded in 2012. So I can't overstate the importance of prudent budgeting and our good financial position. And you see evidence of it every day. In many municipalities, and everyone they can't even fill potholes or pave the streets. At the county, we continue to try to invest in infrastructure, knowing that the investments we make today will pay off tomorrow. And we remain committed to projects that are important in all of our communities, not just the 4th District, but throughout the Los Angeles County. Road repairs, beach maintenance, libraries, community centers, all of these are critical to maintaining the quality of life that we have come to expect. But it doesn't stop there. I'm also pleased that we're able to work with our 26 cities in the 4th District to award over $4 million in park improvements. Everything from new play equipment to ADA accessible pathways to trail enhancements to new parks to outdoor fitness equipment. Each city was able to spend the funds in a way that best suited their community. So we're going to show you a few examples of what's been happening across Los Angeles County this year. Ah. I'm not sure about that last one about infrastructure, but we had a good time doing it.